How's it going, guys? It's Cole with See-Through Panel showing off Erik Kriek's In the Pines, published by Fantagraphics Books. And looks like it was retailing for about $25 US. This is something that I've just recently picked up off Amazon because he had a book solicited in previews called The Exile that looked really, really interesting to me. And I looked at some of the preview pages and it just looked gorgeous. So I ordered this straight away from Amazon for about 20 bucks. I think actually not even 15 bucks. And I've really, really enjoyed it. It's 5 murder ballads from classic American music and also some contemporary music like Nick Cave. But he turns them into comics based on their lyrics. And although I was not familiar with a single one of these, it was really cool to read one story, listen to the song, read one story, listen to the song, and then for a couple of them I listened to the song first and then read the story. It was a really cool way to consume comics that I hadn't done before, and I really, really enjoyed this book, so I will not be spoiling anything. It's pretty short, just 5 short stories here, but there's not a lot to spoil. It's mostly just an art book for me, but the stories were fantastic. It's an adaptation kind of thing, but he's doing a lot of writing for the actual comics, so all the dialogue and stuff up to him, really. And some of them are referential to the lyrics of the song, so that was really cool to find those things out. So the actual title, In the Pines, is a song in itself, but it's not actually used for the stories here. We have Pretty Polly and the Ship's Carpenter, The Long Black Veil, Taney Town, Caleb Meyer, and Where the Wild Roses Grow. I don't actually think that there's any other credits here besides Erik Kriek. I never actually thought about it, but I think he's doing everything on this, which is really impressive to me. So his style is really, really interesting. A lot of ink, really, really bold blacks. Each story, as you'll come to find out, has a monotone, so green, pink, yellow, into blue, and the final one is kind of a reddish, pinkish. Actually, those are very similar. Those are the same. Okay, those are the same. I didn't even realize before. Those are the same tone, I think. A little more orange on this, maybe, but yeah. So monotone and everything, monochromatic. His use of ink is what really, really drove me to pick up this book. Murder Ballad, from what I can surmise from this book, seems to be just a story hinting at usually a lover's quarrel type murder. Sometimes not. Sometimes there's an edge of crime to it and stuff in these stories, but usually it's kind of a love gone wrong type of deal. I've heard songs like that, but I've not actually heard any of these songs. And I'd never heard of Erik Kriek here before. I really wish I had, because he's just awesome. He's really, really good here. I really enjoy his style. I enjoy his rough kind of edges on his panels here. No conventional panels in this first story, but he changes that up in some other stories. My favorite story in here, he changes it up. Let's see, Caleb Meyer. He has these. Okay, so he's got these ones you saw before, very similar rounded edges, kind of rough looking edges. But you'll come to realize after 3-4 pages here, maybe find it at your own pace, but it took me a couple pages. The actual even line, squared, perfectly made panels are in present day, and then any rough rounded panels are either dreams or past sequences. So when we're cutting back and forth, that's a really easy indicator to figure out, oh, I'm in a dream sequence. There's a page where you can see both on one page here. Present day, and then she's having a memory of a terrible thing. And yeah, that continues to be used throughout this story, and then he goes straight back to just... Actually, he goes rigid on this last one, too, which is interesting. He doesn't use a similar mechanism for this last one. He just does rigid square borders. which is really interesting as well. He's a really good storyteller, but his style is what really drew me here. The actual just straight art, regardless of how he tells a story or anything like that. The art itself really drew me in. I love the play with color and just how a lot of the work is actually done through the color, not through black lines. I think he's doing everything on this as far as I can tell, so that is just very impressive. There's very fluid looking lines. That's a page with water, so it's not fair, but here even, on a still scene, everything just seems to flow nicely together. Their lines kind of drag up the hill. And just like his uneven panel borders, his word balloons are also a bit uneven. But it just works so well with his style, which I would not say is rough. It's very, very deliberate and detailed and everything like that, but it's also kind of has an edge to it that I really like. It's very dark, not in the literal sense, but thematically and tonally. This video is already longer than I thought it would be. When I get talking, I sometimes just keep talking. This is really cool. I really advise that you check this book out. He's got another one coming, like I said, called The Exile, which I think is kickstarted. It was already released in Dutch, because I believe he lives in Amsterdam and he's from Holland. So it's already been released in a couple other languages, but he put out a Kickstarter for it, and now it's in previews. So I believe it's a hardcover. It's called The Exile. It looks like a Viking story. And I just saw that, decided I'd pre-order that, looked him up, and saw all this stuff, and it was just awesome. Really, really great. Definitely worth your time. If you're a fan of the music, you will love this. I wasn't even a fan of the music at all. I just kind of went into a rabbit hole during this and learned a lot about these songs and that type of thing, so it really takes you in, and it's really cool to combine two different art forms in that way. Something I don't really have in my collection at all is like adaptations from songs. So really enjoyed that. If you guys know of his work, let me know if there's any other books that I haven't found yet that he does. But otherwise, you probably haven't heard of this, unless I'm just out in the cold. But if you haven't, check this out. It's really cheap on Amazon, and it's really, really good. So thanks for watching, guys. Peace.